In 2011, Nancy Brophy wrote an online essay entitled How to Kill Your Husband. 7 years later, her husband was dead. Coincidence? Not exactly. It seems as though Nancy's novels and essays weren't real enough for her. She wanted to bring her stories to life. She wanted to kill her husband. Not only that, she almost got away with it. Nancy spent years learning about all the elements of a successful murder, including firearms, getting rid of evidence, and how to tell a convincing lie. She claimed that this was just research for her novels, but when the time came, she put all of that knowledge to good use and tried to pull off the perfect crime. Fortunately, she was brought to justice. But what exactly happened here? How did Nancy kill her husband? And how was she caught? Let's find out. In an online biography written long ago, Nancy Brophy wrote that she was happily married to a chef and that the couple lived a happy life with a fabulous vegetable garden, with chickens and turkeys running around in the backyard. Her husband, Daniel Brophy, was a talented chef and an instructor at the Culinary Institute of Oregon. On the surface, the pair was just another happy, aging couple approaching their twilight years together. But underneath it all, problems were brewing. From 2014 to 2017, the couple struggled with serious financial issues. Although Nancy self-published many novels, none of them were really very profitable. While Daniel was content to live a simple life, his wife allegedly wanted more, but she was getting less and less as time went on, and the couple planned to sell their home and downgrade to a smaller property. At this point in time, both spouses purchased life insurance policies. But what about that famous essay? How to Kill Your Husband was penned in 2011 and published online. The short piece was apparently quite well received and it lived up to its title. Nancy gave readers helpful suggestions on how to liquidate their spouses. She wrote that poison, while considered a woman's weapon, was too easy to trace. Knives were a good choice if you wanted to get up close and personal, but they were messy. Guns, on the other hand, were loud and required some skill. Nancy also published The Wrong Husband in 2015, a novel about an abusive husband who pushes her wife too far. The wife escapes while the husband tries to collect on her $1 million life insurance policy. Many of these details would transcend Nancy's pages and become part of her life. On June 2nd of 2018, Daniel Brophy headed for work at the Oregon Culinary Institute. He never made it home. Lying on the floor with 2 gunshot wounds, he was found in a kitchen by his students. It was obviously a homicide, and the local police immediately launched an official investigation into the matter. Nancy was quickly identified as a suspect. However, she enjoyed the last remaining vestiges of her freedom during the rest of the summer while police gathered evidence. During this time, she was seen sobbing and grieving by her niece. She also slowly packed up her things and planned to move away. In September of 2018, Nancy Brophy was officially arrested on suspicion of killing her husband. She pled not guilty to second-degree murder, and the trial began in April of that year. However, COVID-19 issues caused numerous delays. and it wasn't until 2022 that a verdict was finally returned. During those years, the authorities had plenty of time to collect evidence against Nancy. Surveillance footage caught her driving into the Culinary Institute on the day of her husband's murder. She had previously neglected to mention that little detail to the police when she was interviewed. Nancy tried to explain this away by stating that she was probably just out for a coffee run during one of her writing sessions. But the fact remains that she was untruthful about her whereabouts on the morning of the murder. Things got even worse for Nancy when she was questioned about her purchase of a so-called ghost gun prior to the murder. A ghost gun is a firearm that is assembled from many different parts, making it very difficult to trace, sometimes with a 3D printer absent of a serial number. Brophy purchased these parts on the internet, including a Glock slide and a barrel from eBay. She also purchased a Glock 17 at a local gun show before allegedly mixing together the various parts. The end result was that the firearm used in the murder could not be identified. While Brophy surrendered her Glock 17, the bullets did not match the weapon. However, police stated they never recovered the additional slide and barrel, meaning Nancy could have switched out the parts used in the murder to cover her tracks. In her defense, Nancy claimed that she and her husband purchased the firearm together, and that it was for his protection while he gathered mushrooms in the wild. But if that was true, then why buy an additional slide and barrel off eBay? Next, one of Nancy's cellmates came forward, claiming that the novelist had essentially confessed to the crime in her presence.
She told me that he was shot 2 times to the heart, and and she showed me the distance. She said he was shot 2 times to the heart, and she said it was about, and she used her arm span, because I said, wow, must have been close up, and she used her arm span and said, well, it was about this far. And
Finally, prosecutors claimed that Nancy's motive was Daniel's $1.5 million life insurance policy, of which she was the primary beneficiary. Interestingly, the judge ruled that her essay, How to Kill Your Husband, could not be used as evidence since it was written so long ago. Nancy denied everything, and her legal team insisted that she would have never murdered her husband because the pair loved each other. But who else could have killed Daniel? Who else had a motive? Nancy and her legal team suggested that it was simply a robbery gone wrong. On May 25th of 2022, Nancy was found guilty of murdering her husband. Honestly, it couldn't have gone any other way.
It says, we, the jury, duly impaneled and sworn in the above entitled cause, do find our verdicts upon the counts submitted to us as follows. Count 1, murder in the second degree, guilty. And then with regards to the 2 questions, the state alleging that during the commission of this felony, the defendant caused or threatened the use of a firearm, the answer is yes. And then the state further alleges that during the commission of this felony, the defendant and the victim were married, the answer is yes.
Not only did she fantasize about mariticide in various essays and books, but she also purchased a ghost gun and lied about her whereabouts on the day of the murder. Somewhat ironically, her online bio on Amazon still contains the following words: "Be careful what you wish for. When the gods are truly angry, they grant us our wishes, and the payment is always high." It's a sentiment that sums up Nancy's life, especially since she's going to spend the rest of her days behind bars.